Right in the heart of Europe, landlocked and crowned by one of the most beautiful cities on the continent, lies a country of fairytale castles, golden spires, and the finest beer on earth. Czechia, also known as the Czech Republic. Home to around 7 million people, it is a land of rolling Bohemian hills, medieval towns frozen in time, and a capital, Prague, so stunning it feels almost unreal. It is also a nation that, peacefully and proudly, threw off communism and remade itself. This is Czechia, seen from above. Welcome to Aerial Atlas. Czechia covers around 78,900 square kilometers, tucked into the very center of Europe, completely landlocked and ringed by mountains. It is made up of 3 historic lands: Bohemia in the west, around Prague, Moravia in the east, and a slice of Silesia in the north. Low mountain ranges form a natural border with its neighbors, Germany, Poland, Slovakia, and Austria, while inside, gentle hills, deep forests, and river valleys, carved by the Vltava and the Elbe, roll across a green and fertile heartland. And at its center sits Prague, one of the great jewels of Europe. Known as the City of 100 Spires and the Golden City, Prague survived the 20th century's wars largely intact, leaving a breathtaking sweep of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architecture. There is the famous Charles Bridge, lined with statues, the vast Prague Castle, the largest ancient castle complex in the entire world, and the medieval astronomical clock which has been telling time and drawing crowds for over 600 years. Prague's beauty was built on a long and powerful history. In the 14th century, under Emperor Charles IV, the Kingdom of Bohemia became the very heart of the Holy Roman Empire, and Prague one of the most important cities in Europe. He founded Charles University, the oldest in Central Europe, and built much of the city we admire today. For centuries afterwards, these lands were a center of learning, religion, and rebellion at the crossroads of the continent. The 20th century, though, was turbulent. Czechoslovakia was born in 1918, only to be occupied by Nazi Germany, and then, after the war, locked behind the Iron Curtain under communist rule. In 1968, a brief flowering of freedom known as the Prague Spring was crushed by Soviet tanks. But in 1989, the people peacefully overthrew communism in the Velvet Revolution, led by the playwright Václav Havel, and in 1993, in the Velvet Divorce, Czechoslovakia split calmly into 2 nations, Czechia and Slovakia, without a single shot fired. If there is one thing Czechs are famous for above all, it is beer. The Czech people drink more beer per person than any other nation on the entire planet. And this is no accident. The very style of pale, golden lager that most of the world now drinks was invented here, in the city of Plzeň in 1842, the original Pilsner. The town of Cesky Krumlov gave its German name, Budweis, to another world-famous brew. Here, beer is not just a drink, it is a cornerstone of the culture. Beyond Prague, Czechia is scattered with storybook towns and castles. The crown jewel is Cesky Krumlov, a perfectly preserved medieval town curled inside a bend of the Vltava River, watched over by a great castle, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There is the eerie bone chapel of Kutná Hora, decorated with the bones of thousands, and elegant spa towns like Karlovy Vary, where Europe's aristocrats once came to take the healing waters. Czechia is also world-renowned for its craftsmanship, above all its glass. For centuries, Bohemian crystal has been treasured across the globe, sparkling, intricately cut glassware and chandeliers that have graced palaces and grand houses from Vienna to Versailles. Alongside the crystal came fine garnets, delicate porcelain, and a deep tradition of skilled, patient making that still defines Czech industry and design to this day. The country has given the world an extraordinary amount of art and ideas, too. Prague was the home of the writer Franz Kafka, whose strange, haunting visions still shape modern literature. The composers Antonin Dvorak and Bedřich Smetana poured the Czech soul into music. The artist Alphonse Mucha helped define the entire Art Nouveau movement. And the country's beloved tradition of marionette puppetry has been passed down here for centuries. Czech food is hearty, warming fuel for Central European winters. The national dish is Svickova, tender beef in a rich, creamy vegetable sauce, served with bread dumplings and a spoonful of cranberries. There's roast pork with dumplings and sauerkraut, thick goulash, and for something sweet, the trdelník, a spiral of dough grilled over coals and dusted with sugar. And washing all of it down, of course, is another perfect glass of golden Czech beer. Czechia is also a quiet industrial powerhouse. This is one of the most industrialized nations in the region, with a long, proud engineering heritage. Its most famous name is Skoda, the carmaker founded here well over a century ago, whose vehicles are now sold all around the world. From machinery to electronics, the Czech economy hums with the same precision and craft that runs through everything this small country makes. And then there is football, a sport woven deep into the national story. As Czechoslovakia, the team twice reached the World Cup final, back in 1934 and 1962. As the Czech Republic, they were runners-up at the European Championship in 1996, powered later by greats like the Ballon d'Or winner Pavel Nedvěd and the legendary goalkeeper Petr Cech. After years of rebuilding, the Czechs are back among Europe's contenders, and for 2026, they are chasing the world stage once more. A small, landlocked nation at the very heart of Europe, of golden Prague, fairytale castles, world-changing beer and quiet, brilliant craft. That was Czechia from above. If you enjoyed the journey, subscribe. Here on Aerial Atlas, we fly over a new country every day.